I'm Lu Yan from Beijing Review Magazine, and this is the Governance Podcast, a podcast that explores the past, present, and future of governance in China as it works toward meeting its development goals and finds its place in the global community. Recent breakthrough achievements, such as the launch of DeepSeek's revolutionary artificial intelligence models and the collection of samples from the far side of the moon, are indicators of just how far China has developed in science and technology. Unable to produce a car just 7 decades ago, China now plans to build itself into a world-leading sci-tech powerhouse by 2035. This goal is one of many in its drive to become a great nation and achieve national rejuvenation by the middle of this century. In pursuit of these goals, President Xi Jinping has called for self-reliance and self-strengthening while also remaining committed to openness and international cooperation. In this episode of the Governance Podcast, we'll speak to Gao Yi, an associate research fellow at the Chinese Academy of Science and Technology for Development, and Honorine Nijana Ingabiri, a PhD student in biomedical engineering at the University of Electronic Science and Technology of China, and an assistant researcher at the university's Center for West African Studies. Today's guests will provide background information on President Xi's vision, and we'll discuss how China's sci-tech powerhouse initiative will impact the world at large. Hi, Gao Yi. Thanks for taking the time to chat with the Governance Podcast. Why is President Xi Jinping attaching such great importance to self-reliance in science and technology?
President Xi has always attached great importance to self-reliance in science and technology, emphasizing that the prosperity of science and technology leads to the prosperity of the nation, and the strength of science and technology leads to the strength of the country. It is a fundamental viewpoint of Marxism that values the historical role of technology. Since ancient times, science and technology have been driving human society forward with an irresistible force. In this sense, technological strength determines the balance of political and economic power in the world, even determines the future and destiny of countries. Some countries have seized the opportunity of technological revolution and achieved rapid development of economy, technology, and national defense, as well as rapid improvement of comprehensive national strength. So President Xi has put forward a major statement that innovation must be the primary driving force for development, which means innovation should be put on the core position of the overall modernization of China, and the self-reliance in science and technology should be the strategic support for national development. In today's world, science and technology innovation has a wider impact on economic and social development, as well as people's lives. The level of technological development reflects a country's comprehensive strength and core competitiveness. President Xi emphasized that the realization of high-level self-reliance in science and technology leads to high-quality development.
Does this emphasis on self-reliance have the potential to adversely affect international cooperation?
Self-reliance in science and technology is not about working in isolation, but rather taking the initiative in the global innovation network. In today's world, no country can be completely independent from the global system, so international cooperation is an inevitable choice. China has established scientific and technological cooperation relationships with more than 160 countries and regions, and participated in international scientific programs such as the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor, that is ITER, which confirms the innovative logic of climbing on the shoulders of giants. Meanwhile, self-reliance in science and technology is aimed at enhancing our own abilities, But it doesn't mean excluding external resources. Faced with global challenges such as climate change and public health, Chinese and foreign scientific research institutions jointly studied on vaccine research and development and carbon neutrality technology. These cases reflect the necessity of international cooperation. So self-reliance in science and technology will lead to win-win results in the soil of open cooperation. This inclusive and innovative philosophy is not only China's choice, but also a commonwealth of global technological progress. So China will further actively strengthen international cooperation in science and technology, focusing on the common and long-term interests of humanity, and contribute more Chinese solutions and wisdom to the long-term development of human society. China firmly pursues a win-win strategy of opening up and is willing to work with countries around the world to promote science and technology innovation so as to benefit the people of all countries. Science and technology innovation is an important force for humanity to jointly address risks and challenges, promote peace and development. China will continue to promote international scientific and technological exchanges and cooperation in order to build an open innovation ecosystem with global competitiveness.
Becoming a sci-tech powerhouse that cooperates and leads in innovation is part of President Xi's overall vision for making China a strong country in all respects. Are there any specific criteria that define a sci-tech powerhouse?
The sci-tech powerhouse should be featured with the world-class technological strength and innovation capability, which support the overall development of economy, national defense, and comprehensive national strength, and further to enhance human welfare as well as to promote global development. President Xi clarified sci-tech powerhouse from 5 aspects. First, strong basic research and original innovation capabilities, which produce significant original and disruptive scientific and technological achievements. Second, strong capabilities in tackling key and core technologies, which provide strong support for high-quality development and high-level security. Third, strong international influence and leadership, and become an important scientific center and innovation center in the world. Fourth, a strong ability to cultivate and gather high-level scientific and technological talents. Last but not least, a strong sci-tech governance system with a world-class innovation ecosystem and research environment.
We should mention here, key and core technologies refer to technologies that are crucial for a country's development and competitiveness. China's focus on these technologies, such as artificial intelligence, quantum technology, and new energy, is driven by strategic goals of self-reliance, global competitiveness, and national security. Now, a final question for Gao Yi. Once China becomes a sci-tech powerhouse, how will it contribute to the world's science and technology progress?
Science and technology innovation knows no borders. China is well aware that opening up and cooperation is the only way for science and technology progress. This concept has been fully reflected in the practice of scientific and technological innovation in China. As I mentioned before, at present, China has established scientific and technological cooperation relationships with more than 160 countries and regions around the world, and signed 118 intergovernmental scientific and technological cooperation agreements. Let me give you some examples, such as Chang'e 6 carrying international payloads to explore the moon, and the announcement of welcoming foreign astronauts on the Tiangong space station. China's Circle of Friends for Scientific and Technological Openness is expanding day by day, promoting the common development and sharing of achievements in the world's scientific and technological fields. China has also demonstrated active global participation in the field of science and technology. It is not only committed to promoting the formulation of global scientific and technological rules, agenda setting, and governance reform, but also deeply involved in global innovation governance issues, such as public health and clean energy. At present, China has joined more than 200 international organizations and multilateral mechanisms, and has participated in over 60 international scientific programs and projects, including ITER, as I mentioned, and the International Ocean Discovery Program, IODP, and the Square Kilometer Array Radio Telescope. In addition, China has proposed the International Science and Technology Cooperation Initiative, aiming to explore new models of mutually beneficial global cooperation with all parties in the field of science, technology, and innovation.
Now, here is some background information for listeners. China officially joined ITER, a joint project involving 7 members, in 2006. The project, which is under construction in South France, will be the world's largest experimental device to produce controlled thermonuclear fusion power, popularly known as an artificial sun. IODP is an international marine research collaboration that explores Earth's history and dynamics using ocean-going research platforms. The Square Kilometer Array is an international effort to build the world's largest radio telescope. Thank you, Gao Yi, for giving us an understanding of China's goals for sci-tech innovation and the role of international cooperation in achieving those goals. Part of China's growing international cooperation in science and technology includes becoming a destination for students of science from around the world. Joining me now is Honorine Nijana Ingabiri, a PhD student in biomedical engineering at the University of Electronic Science and Technology of China, and an assistant researcher at the university's Center for West African Studies. Honorine, after first coming to China from Rwanda in 2014, you completed both your undergraduate and master's degrees and are now working toward your PhD, all from the same university. What originally attracted you to study biomedical engineering in China? And what made you choose and stick with the University of Electronic Science and Technology of China?
My primary goal was to become a medical doctor, driven by the passion of contributing in addressing various medical challenges to the global community. Through hard working, guidance of my mentors, my family and friends, I successfully passed high school national examination in the ocean of mathematics, chemistry, and biology as the first female student nationwide, and was honored to be admitted in the University of Rwanda to pursue medicine. In the meanwhile, the government of Rwanda offered me an opportunity to study in China at the UASTC, as Rwanda and China have been having very strong and growing relations, particularly within the broader framework of China-Africa cooperation. I learned also that there is a shortage of biomedical engineers, which was affecting healthcare nationwide by delaying disease diagnosis and therapeutic intervention. So I decided to pursue biomedical engineering to contribute in addressing those challenges. After graduating in bachelor at the USTC, I couldn't think or consider pursuing my studies elsewhere, as the USTC is globally recognized for its academic excellence and have state-of-the-art research facilities. For instance, they are the key laboratory of neuroinformation of the Ministry of Education and other Sichuan province-supported key laboratories. Therefore, I have seized the opportunity given by the USTC and successfully developed a systematic and yet quantitative framework for modeling and continuous monitoring disease progression.
As someone engaged in scientific studies in China for over a decade, what changes have you seen in both the importance China attaches to science and technology and also its efforts to increase international cooperation in this area?
Over the past decade, China has significantly strengthened its focus on science and technology as key drivers of economic growth and national development. This was done by prioritizing innovation-driven development through a series of national policies and initiatives, including increased fundings for scientific research and development, supporting areas like artificial intelligence, biotechnology, clean energy, and space exploration. Also, through expanded its research infrastructure, where universities and research institutions across the country have benefited from new state-of-the-art facilities, equipment, and laboratories. For instance, the USTC has made significant contribution to telecommunications and wireless communication system, like in developing fifth and sixth generation wireless networks. Also, over the past decade, I have also noted China's effort to enhance international cooperation in science and technology in several domains. For example, through the Belt and Road Initiative, China has been expanding its international scientific and technological influence, offering partnerships with countries in Asia, Africa, Latin America, and Europe. China has been actively attracting leading international researchers and scientists. For instance, during my bachelor's and my master's studies, I was a member of the Joint China-Cuba Laboratory for Translational Neuroscience at the USTC, which is a collaborative research initiative between the two countries, aiming to make meaningful advancement in the treatment and management of neurological disease through a collaborative international effort.
Is there knowledge, skills, or experience you've picked up while studying in China that would have been difficult to gain elsewhere?
Definitely yes. Studying in China has offered me a unique knowledge, skills, and experiences that may be difficult to gain elsewhere. For instance, studying in China has been allowing me to access state-of-the-art research facilities and collaborate with world-leading researchers in biomedical engineering. Also, the scale and speed of technological advancement in China have provided opportunities for me to work on projects and research that are leading global trends, as I mentioned.
China's goal is to become one of the global leaders in science, technology, and innovation. How close do you think it is to achieving that goal, and what more needs to be done to get there?
I think, based on the current trends, China is very close to achieving that goal. Currently, China has made remarkable advances toward becoming a global leader in science, technology, and innovation. For example, China is already a global leader in several high-tech industries, including fifth-generation telecommunications, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, biotechnology, e-commerce, renewable energy, etc., as I mentioned. Also, China is the home to companies such as Huawei in fifth-generation telecommunication technology, Alibaba and Tencent in artificial intelligence and cloud computing, and BYD in electric vehicles. Last but not the least, through the Belt and Road Initiative, China has strengthened its position as a global hub for innovation and scientific collaboration, forging research partnerships with countries across Asia, Africa, Latin America, and Europe. However, I think as China grows as a leader in tech and innovation, focusing on achieving sustainability can be further strengthened to keep reducing carbon emissions, hence mitigating climate change in the future.
Thanks to both Gao Yi of the Chinese Academy of Science and Technology for Development and honoring Nijana Ingabiri of the University of Electronic Science and Technology of China for talking to the Governance Podcast about openness and self-reliance in China's tech scene. President Xi emphasizes self-reliance in science and technology not only because it fosters national strength and global competitiveness in these areas, but also because he sees innovation as the most important driver of development, not just for China, but for the global community. China aims, through openness and cooperation, to support global development through innovation, as well as to jointly tackle shared challenges like climate change and public health crises. This makes science and technology not only a powerful driver of development, but also a powerful platform for drawing nations together to build a global community of shared future. Throughout this series, We'll be exploring topics related to President Xi and how governance is practiced in China. To stay up to date on the podcasts, visit the Beijing Review website, bjreview.com. Find us on YouTube or Spotify with the tag Beijing Review, or look for us where you get your podcasts. I'm Lu Yan in Beijing. Thanks for listening to the Governance Podcast. Bye for now.